Hi, welcome to the Commercial Gas Engineer channel. This is a continuation of my first site as a commercial engineer. This was the second company I had worked for as a commercial engineer, and we're in 2019 in about August, and I attended this site because there was a leak taking place. So I was trying to trace the pipework in the roof space. So I had to make a few cuts in the ceiling. I was trying to do as little damage as possible, but it wasn't easy. I couldn't work out which push fit pipe was damaged. Because water just finds the line of least resistance. So I was using a moisture meter to try and detect where it was, but it still was difficult. I need to buy a new moisture meter because I've left my previous one in a roof space. But they can help. Let me know if you have any of these moisture meters. They're pretty cheap and cheerful, anything from about 15 to about £25. So I started to get closer and closer to where this leak was. But it was tricky because I could have done with another person here, turning the water on and then off. But I had to turn the water on in the plant room and then run back to the room, then on, off, on, off. And you don't want to do too much damage to the fabric of the building. So you can see, still tricky trying to find this leak. The whole ceiling was probably going to come down anyway. I think I pinpointed where it was. This is the condition of the room with the flooding taking place. And then it looked as though it was one of these push fit pipes. So the room was tidied up afterwards. But as you can see, I found it. And basically the push fit had just completely come off. It had completely come off here and here. And I had to rush down the road to the nearest merchant and get a push fit connection. And this is me in the process of trying to repair it. And here's the push fit connection I got. This was, I think, on a weekend. And thankfully, I managed to get a screw fix down the road open. And then I just put this white pipe in. I can't forget this one. I was called out to this leak in the middle of nowhere. And they said there was water possibly coming up from underneath the floor. I spent ages trying to trace the leak, ages. So I was drilling to gain access to the pipework under the floor outside the kitchen. Drilling away. You can see the patch of water here on the floor. Then I found the exposed pipework. So on this particular site, I was wasting my time because it was coming from the kitchen and no one had the courtesy to tell me that they had spilt water on their way out of the kitchen. Had to put this board back down and allow people to walk up and down the corridor. On this particular site, it was just a domestic boiler in a commercial building, and as you can see, the elbow was leaking and needed replacing. So I managed to trace it. Sometimes if you do your homework, you can find them in different branches, and I found this one miles away, but managed to get it done for them. This was the setup. We had the two boilers here and one of them was behaving badly. And these were the flues, showing a lot of white. And on this particular site, I was inspecting the propane tanks. Sometimes when you're out in the sticks, this is what you get. On this particular site, it looks as though I was measuring up for the replacement of a three-way valve. And on this site, you would have seen in my previous video where I had damaged an ESBE valve, three-way valve, whilst I was changing a pump on my own. And then this is me changing the three-way valve underneath, the one that I damaged. And because I didn't have an extra man, I was just trying to use as much leverage as I could. So I had a nice bit of low carbon steel pipe and some big Stiltsons, and I had to just use my body weight to undo the connection. It looks as though I was also using some heat down there as well to heat up the joint. And this is during the changing of the three-way valve. And this looks like me in the process of changing a pump elsewhere. In this particular site, looks like they have a temporary forced draft burner. Here we go, here it is. This was probably one of my very few encounters with forced draft burners. I hadn't had many at the time. So look inside. And this is the Citronic sequence controller. You can see the flame strength here. This is showing you the stages that the burner is at. And this is good for diagnosis in seeing why it has locked out. So it's currently in the green stage. This is a plate to plate. Here you have a pinhole leak, but as you can see, it's spraying from 2 points of a soldered joint from here and from here. Oh, this leak here on this particular pipe was at the top of a hotel, I believe. So here is the leak on the connection, and this is down below. This looks like another leak in a building where the maintenance man decided to direct it into a bucket somehow. Pipe's coming through. Sometimes on jobs it takes a long time to trace the pipe work. So here we have it. You can see water coming through. Can you see the water dripping through? But it's trying to trace where it's coming from, which is the key. Oh, here we have it. You see the leak? There we go. It took a while to find that, but there it is. I'm not sure what's going on in this place. It doesn't even ring any bells seeing this plant room. I don't know what is going on here. Don't remember being here. This particular site, I'm not sure what was going on. I believe actually, no, I know what was going on now. Yes, I was in the roof space changing some pipework in a hotel in the middle of nowhere. I think it was 2-inch pipework. Didn't use a press gun. This bit of copper pipe. And there's my rags. And I could see that someone had put in some connections earlier. Some push fit connections, and I was planning to use the same. So this is the process. I didn't have a reship saw, so I just used my hacksaw and cut through. And this is the replacement connection. In this site I had a pump I was changing, and you can see I was isolating, but the valves were still letting by. And so I was going to get out my Allen key and change this pump. Gas leak on a modular boiler. So I had to sort this out. On this particular job I was getting some press fit fittings. Looks like this was the order. All copper press fit fittings. And this is what was required. So it looked like this is for an installation that was taking place. Okay. Please leave comments in the section below. Until next time, bye bye bye.